Hello, called and capable listeners. I'm your host, Sarah Sillers, your elite scaling coach and award winning entrepreneur, here to empower you to lead with your God given strengths and live your calling with bold, unshakable impact. Each week, we explore strategies, stories, and insights to help you scale your business to 6, 7, or even 8 figures while building a thriving community of purpose driven leaders. Through my transformative programs, Emerging Leaders Circle and 1 Million Plus Club, I guide entrepreneurs to break through barriers and achieve extraordinary growth. Visit sarahsillers.com for more information on how to join the journey and get ready for inspiration and action. So let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, Sarah here. Welcome to the Called and Capable podcast. This is where we empower leaders to unleash their strengths and drive results. So if you haven't already, check out last week's episode. We had former California State Senator Mike Morrell. He's a dedicated Republican legislator and real estate broker with over 25 years of small business experience. So you don't want to miss that episode. And before I introduce today's guest, let's see what God has to say about living our calling. In Romans 8:28, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Today, our guest is the president of the Latina Entrepreneur Network. She's a dynamic leader who empowers Latina businesses, entrepreneurs by fostering a supportive community focused on entrepreneurship, innovation, and economic growth. With a passion for uplifting diverse voices, drives initiatives that provide resources, mentorship, and networking opportunities. And this helps Latina entrepreneurs thrive in competitive markets. Please welcome Clarisa Kirk. Yay, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for making it. All right, I want to hear your story. I'm sure the listeners want to hear all about you. So if you could tell us how you empower female entrepreneurs, I would love to hear it.
As you mentioned in the intro, I'm Clarisa Kirk, the president of the Latina Entrepreneur Network. It started with, so I'm also a small business owner. I'm the owner of Vino Couture Wine Glassware. And the way our women's group, our women in business group started was during COVID. As a wine glassware company owner, I noticed that obviously my sales were dropping because of COVID. A lot of our retailers were calling saying, hey, we're closing our doors, come pick up the product, or, it was just slow on sales. So myself and 3 other friends decided to start leveraging each other's social media by sharing each other's posts to drive sales. And, with COVID, as you know, a lot of places closed and people were basically at home. So they couldn't really go shop. They couldn't do anything. So with the wine glassware company, what we started to do, like I said, is we started sharing each other's social media posts. One's a spa owner. So we would share her posts, to kind of help drive and increase her business through social media. And the same thing with my wine glassware company. So since I could ship anywhere, we started, sharing each other's posts. That picked up, obviously. And most importantly, what we had is other women in business reaching out to us. Just other friends that are business owners started reaching out to me via social media saying, hey, do you mind sharing my posts? So we kind of came up with this idea of, hey, this would be helpful and beneficial to other people in business. Why don't we start a group, a women's business group? So it's just started out as a women's business group where we would, help other women in business by sharing their social media posts. Then eventually we came up with the idea of turning this into a nonprofit. And what we do now as a nonprofit is we have quarterly classes for women in business. We leverage our Latina Entrepreneur Network social media page to share all of our members and highlight them either weekly, monthly. We do events, and then we also have classes that we teach. Like I said, business classes. We also give back to the community. We have community events. We have a big one coming up for Mother's Day where we have, like I said, one of our business owners, Vero Margot Spa, she owns a spa. So she'll come in and do massages. Another one owns Hannah Beauty Studio. She'll come in and do the nails for the women at the domestic violence shelter. So we do that for Mother's Day. And then we also have a huge toy drive for Christmas to benefit a church here in Riverside. It's called the Servant's Closet. and give toys out to the kids in need in the community, and then also to the women's shelter in San Bernardino and to Path of Life Homeless Ministries here in Riverside as well. So
Wow.
we, not only do we want to do for our members and our business owners, but we also want to give back to the community.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're really capitalizing on so many different avenues and strengths to help as many people as possible.
I mean, that's the goal, right? I always say that nobody in life got to where they're at alone. It was always with either a word of encouragement or someone showing you the way, right?
Yeah.
So when you get to a certain place in life, why not give back? Why not help others? It's made a difference in my life when people came through and helped me. I always say that God always sent an angel along the way to help me to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
So if we can repay it and help others, why not?
Well, and besides that being incredibly beautiful, you've been able to take something like during COVID that was, um, obviously such a negative thing for everybody with either professionally or personally, with all the lockdowns and everything. And you were ingenuitive, you were able to, or innovative, excuse me. You are a leader amongst women, and you are able to use your strengths and really, really create something out of nothing, which is absolutely beautiful because it needs somebody that's strong, that has a vision to help others. And it sounds like that's what you're able to do.
It's always about that sense of community. And I think that's what really propelled us to move forward. During COVID, a lot of people had to come together to survive, to make things happen, right? So for us in business, we just realized, man, we need that. A lot of times people in business tend to fight with each other, compete with each other, and that's not our group. Our group is really about helping each other out, uplifting each other, guiding each other. If I don't have the answer, we're going to find it out for you. It's just that, again, that sense of community, just really coming together to help each other out.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. What are some ways that you help the businesses in the community? Like, I know you do things with nonprofits, but you kind of touched on some free resources, possibly some classes. What does
Mhm.
that look like with the Latina Entrepreneur Network?
So some of the classes that we offer, for many people in business, when they first open up their business, they have honestly no idea what they're doing, especially if it's a small business. They're taking a leap of faith and they're just going to wing it. So what we've done is we have, for example, somebody will come in and talk to you about business formation, how to go about doing that. A lot of people have no idea how to go about doing that. So, like I said, every quarter we have somebody that'll come in and teach you about that. We'll have a social media marketing expert to come in and teach the women about all the different social media platforms and how they can be used, and how to work your social media to drive more business to your pages. We'll have that. We've had, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. This is our fifth year. We've had a lot of classes throughout the years, and right now they're escaping my memory here. But we have that, like I said, business formation, tax preparation, how to properly file taxes as an LLC, a corporation. So we'll have a tax expert come in and teach that as well. Small business loans as well. We'll have representatives from the banks come out and talk to our members about small business loans. So we're always trying to figure out a way, for them to either apply for a grant, a small business grant, just different things that we're trying to, have our members learn from and hopefully use to help out in business.
Well, and it sounds like you're utilizing the members in your community to help others in your community, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We're affiliated with the Hispanic Coalition of Small Business, Frank Montes. So
Yes.
he's been great. They're amazing. They're an amazing group, very connected. But most importantly, they do a lot for the community as well. So, like I said, it goes back to having that sense of community and connection, and that's truly how you make a difference, not only for our members, but for each other and the others in the community.
Absolutely. Funny enough, Frank has been on the guest in a previous episode, I think about 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Oh,
So it actually hasn't aired yet. It's going to be airing, I think, next week.
okay.
But so you'll be seeing that drop. So just kind of a nod to how the entrepreneur community really is,
Mhm.
how small it is. You always have that 6 degrees of separation. So it's been really neat because I have known you for I don't know,
Many
10
years.
plus years. It's been
I
a long
think
time.
it's 10
Yeah.
plus years that we've known each other.
And Frank Montez as well. And so a lot of the people on my podcast I have known through networking, and I'm happy to do a master class specifically on networking too. I love to do free training as well, but networking is a big one. You know, people don't know about your business unless you get the word out. And also, people want to do business with you. They want to know who they're buying into, what they're buying into. Is it a cause? Do you have a sense of impact? And you really have to check all those boxes in order to thrive properly, but it also helps you serve others better too, because you're getting feedback immediately. So
Absolutely.
I find that exceedingly helpful, and I love that we're all on the same wavelength with this. So we're all helping each other with that. Actually, since we're kind of on this subject, if you're loving these strength-based tips, go ahead and imagine what you could achieve with your team strength mastermind. We'll be meeting once a week, and it includes a VI strategy call with me. And we'll also get you access to the community and our group of other entrepreneurs. You can visit calledandcapablepodcast.com to apply. Applications close June 3rd, so you don't want to miss that. All right, back to our show. All right, Clarissa, go ahead and tell us a little bit how you blend your passion and your purpose together.
So, as the founder and owner of Vino Couture, I merge my love for wine and the wine culture with creative entrepreneurship by inspiring others to turn their passion into successful business ventures. Vino Couture started about 8 years ago, and started with actually a group of friends that started the business along with me. And, unfortunately, for one reason or another, life got too busy for them. And, I kept running with the business. So it's been, like I said, 8 years. And it's been great. It's been great. But it's also opened the doors, like I said, to starting this women's business group. So
Absolutely. What is Vino Couture?
Vino Couture is an elegant wine glassware company. Like I said, we've been in business for 8 years, and actually, I have a glass if you don't mind if I share it.
Yes, please.
So this is one of our wine glasses. It's a fleur-de-lis wine glass. So they're all different types of glassware for your white wines, your red wines, but they're all embellished with different crystals. So, and as you noticed earlier, I was drinking my tea out of my one of my wine cups. I'm sorry, one of my teacups. So another Vino Couture piece here. So I'll make wine glasses, shot glasses, water bottles, teacups, coffee mugs as well,
Oh, how nice.
and
I
also wine.
know I personally have some of these from probably 8 years ago when
Yeah,
you first started. It's been a
but I
long time. It's gone from state to state with me as
Yay.
I've moved and progressed throughout the years, but they're still there. Like they're great quality, they're durable. I hand wash mine.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you can put them in the dishwasher, but I always hand wash mine. I do that with all my wine glasses,
Right.
but I love them, and they're great for like bridal showers or gifts. I know, well, this episode is going to air right after Mother's Day, but it's a great Mother's Day gift, so there's going to be different things you can do that with. Where can they find you with that?
So they can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. On Instagram, our handle is Vino Couture by Posh, and the same on Facebook. And then we're also at vinocouture.com, and that's VNOCOUTURE.com.
Awesome. And I'll make sure and link that in the description below too, for
Absolutely.
both this and the
And
Latina Entrepreneur Network.
thank you. Yes. Also, Latina Entrepreneur Network is just that. It's a pretty long
Okay.
handle, but it's
Just
Latina,
straightforward.
straightforward, super long. But what I did want to say about the glassware, also, I know you mentioned that it's a great gift for, birthday or Mother's Day. But it's also a great gift for yourself. They're elegant, they're beautiful, they're sparkly, but why not treat yourself? Even if it's just, you're at home, you want to enjoy a good glass of wine, why not spoil yourself in a beautiful glass?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's a good catch. We do. We have to have self-care, and sometimes that involves a glass of wine and relaxing at the end of the day. Of course, as long as nobody has an issue with that. But
Right.
but
Or
we
a
all
great,
relax different ways. Yeah.
or a cup of tea or coffee in a beautiful,
Well, I
mug.
love the water bottle idea because then you can do that, take it to the gym or have your
Yes,
pre-workout or, after
absolutely.
gym shake or whatever.
Yes, a little bit of everything. So yeah, so the glassware we have for for basically every need. Water, from water bottles to wine glasses to mugs to shot glasses, whatever you need, we have it.
Okay, I love it. All right. Well, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, is we were just talking about how you blend your passion and purpose. Tell me a little bit how you lead with both vision and heart.
When I start something, I'm going to see it all the way through the end. Um, I just it's about making a difference in the world. As I get older, I realize that life isn't about things. It's really about connection. It's about the memories we create, and it's about the connections that we make with people, the positive change that we make in this world. So I lead with that. I lead with that vision of kindness, of strength, of resilience. I lead with that, and it's easy to lead when you're being your true authentic self. You know, um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I
And
just
resilience.
resilience.
Resilience. Oh my gosh, you definitely do that as an entrepreneur. I mean,
Yes,
the
definitely.
difference between succeeding and failing is trying just one more time, just
Well,
one more.
absolutely. And it's funny because I've met, so many women in business that they have wonderful business ideas, but they don't have resources, right? So it's funny, years later, like I said, we've been as Latina Entrepreneur Network, this is our 5th year. December will be our 5th year anniversary. But
Congrats.
a couple of the women have said, you really cheered me on. You really inspired me to keep going. I really was thinking about quitting because business is hard.
Yeah.
As business, it's so difficult, and it's wonderful to see 5 years later, they're still in business, they're thriving, they're doing amazing. So it's leading with that, with that, like I said, with resilience, with strength, with that sense of commitment, of wanting to make change in the community, of wanting to encourage others. And like I said before, someone believed in me along the way. Sorry, that's my doggy in the background.
We're
Um,
pet friendly. I have Jameson
yes.
running around here somewhere.
Come here. Like I said, in life, someone believed in me along the way. Several people believed in me along the way. And I lead with that in mind always, that someone made a difference in my life and I want to make a difference in someone's life. And that's how I lead.
Wow, I love that. For you listeners, I that is thinking about throwing in the towel. I think these are very encouraging words to number one, know you can do it. Get up one more time and try. Find your people. Find people to uplift you. There are free resources out there. There's also paid resources out there. It just depends on what works for you, where you're at, how you want to grow. But the Latina Entrepreneur Network has some great freebies out there. And you're located in Southern California. So if they're
Yeah,
there, but also you can join online and still support each other if you're somewhere else.
absolutely. So our members are throughout Southern California.
Okay.
So they're through Riverside County, San Bernardino County, LA County, and Orange County. So, and if somebody would be interested in joining from out of state, they're more than welcome to come out and join us. Like I said, we have quarterly classes, so it's not like we meet all the time. We meet once a quarter, and then we have like I said, our big annual toy drive and our Mother's Day event for the women in the shelter in May. It's actually coming up May 1st. Sorry, May 1st.
Oh,
We have
that's wonderful.
yeah, yeah.
Great.
So
Well, do you have any last parting words of wisdom for our listeners today?
last parting words would be, first of all, drink your wine in style. And secondly, never quit. Never quit anything because you'll never know what the ending was supposed to be like. You know what I mean? If you quit, you're always going to wonder what would have happened if I would have stuck it out. And I say that about everything in life. Um, People that struggle with, depression or just, issues, I always tell them, think about think about what would happen if you were to quit. Life is like a movie. And if you just cut right in the middle of that movie, you're never going to know how your story is supposed to end. And God has a purpose for all of us. And, live it out, try it out, just keep pushing. So never quit. That would be my parting words. Never
Oh,
ever quit.
that's beautiful. That's exactly, I think, what the listeners need to hear is that insight, that inspiration, knowing that they're not alone and that they can do it just one more time. Just try one more time because it's going to make a difference.
It does.
Awesome. Oh, Clarissa, thank you so much for coming on here today and sharing your wisdom and your insights with us. I'm sure the listeners have gotten all sorts of wisdom from you, and I love our conversations and continue to help each other grow in business and personally. It's just wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We hope you had some great takeaways from both Clarissa and myself. And if you like this show, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you have friends that need a little pick me up, go ahead and share this episode because you know they'll want to hear it. And I will see you next week. Bye. That's a wrap on another inspiring episode of Called and Capable podcast. I'm Sarah Sillers, your elite scaling coach, and I'm so grateful to share this space with you. If today's episode sparked your vision, share it with a fellow entrepreneur and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Rumble to grow our community of faith-driven leaders. And if you want to scale your business to 6, 7, or even 8 figures with transformative coaching and connection, visit me at sarahsillers.com to learn about my current programs. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday for more insight to lead boldly and live your calling. Until then, embrace your strengths and shine.